man. First podcast, man. I got my guy, KneesOverToesGuy. We call these podcasts ATG for life, you know. Ben came, but just got back into Clearwater, and his message is like, man, I want to be able to reach everybody, you know. And he came to me, was like, man, I feel like everybody can do this particular type of training. And I know I'm kind of jumping the gun. I'm going to introduce Ben, but I just want to get the podcast name across. It's going to be ATG for life. And I'm going to be hosting this show. We're going to do at least, I don't know, what you think, 1,000 shows, man. We're just going to keep them, pumping them out because we feel like we got so much information. These messages and this information is obscure in the marketplace, you know? So we feel like we're on to something. We are trying to be living testimonies of it and just not talking, but walking our talk, you know? So I want to officially, man, introduce Ben, KneesOverToesGuy Patrick, to the show ATG for life. Been longtime friend, over 10 years now. Kind of just cut from the same cloth, you know, and we'll talk about a little bit about that today. What we're talking about, you know, cut from the same cloth, man. Like, we've had our struggles, we had our battles. He's through all that struggle, through all that battles, he's built a global brand. You know, ATG's became a global brand. It's helping thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people overcome all kind of injuries, elbows, particular knees. And we'll talk about that a lot in this podcast. But just want to officially introduce Ben ATG Patrick to his show, ATG for life, man. Thanks for being on, Ben.
Appreciate it. So this wouldn't be, you know, happening. What we're on to is that in one sentence is that everyone can hit the sled. And most of us either haven't been on a sled or haven't been taught how to do it or the significance of it or done it as a regular practice. Yeah. You played college, pro. For me, sled was never done as a regular practice. The first clue was Charles Poliquin, who's the most obsessively precise, complex, fancy, detailed trainer I've ever seen. And, you know, for him to approve of a gym, it would probably cost like $500,000 of equipment. Like the level of precision. And yet, wow, if he could only have one exercise the rest of his life, it'd be a sled. Number one most bang for the buck equipment tool. So that was quite a clue. Now, you and I were training together for years, and you hit the sleds more than anybody else.
And saved my life.
He just doesn't age. I mean, we've taken him to doctors and something's wrong with him now. He just doesn't age. Okay. But he's done more sleds. There's no way anyone in the world has done more sleds with the correct form that we're talking about. This is not some herky jerky exercise. We're not talking about some speed exercise, even though it can make you run faster. We're not talking about a strongman exercise, which is its own kind of competition. We're not talking about sled as competition. We're talking about sled as something that you get to the gym before you even work out. You start with the sled. That's it. That's what ATG became. So true. We used to only do sled on Fridays. Then Derek would always be hitting the sled extra. And we started to realize, holy crap, from the very first step, you're working your foot. You're rehabilitating your feet, your knees, your back, all these areas is the first workout that my mom and dad loved doing. And now it's like anyone I run into anywhere around town, whatever, people I know say, come meet me for a workout. Because I know it's going to be a life-changing workout for them when they correctly start the sled. So this only is happening because of this unique background of me being obsessive with Charles Poliquin, and he still thought the sled was the number one thing. Wow. And there's no way anyone in the world has done more backward sled than I have. If you think you have, go ahead and reach out. I'd love to see some videos of you over the years. But people are always wondering about my knee transformation, and it's like, oh, I tried it for a couple of weeks. Try. I mean, that's a way of life. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You don't try a bench press. You don't try gymnastics. Like, you either want to be good at it or you don't. And anyone can be good at healing their body. You got to have a sled. Anyone can be good from the ground up. You got to have a sled. Yeah. So we used to do this on Fridays. Then we started doing it, and it became, by the time COVID hit and I shut down the original ATG, we did sled before every session. That's how it was. That's how an ATG session went. You started with sled. Yeah. COVID hit, had to revive that, made a book. The goal of this book was to mimic a sled with nothing So this is a ground up rework with nothing, but it's not a sled. So you can use this in the meantime. But if I'm making a gym, the first thing it has to start with sled.
Yeah.
Number 2 is slant to correct the calf. But the purpose of this, we're talking about a recipe for mental toughness, right?
Yeah.
2-part recipe for mental toughness. What do you think about that?
2-part recipe. I like it. I'm gonna dig in a little more.
Sleds and manual labor.
Yeah,
and there could be a lot more to it.
Yeah.
But you give a kid a diet over a summer, that your diet is sleds and manual labor.
Yeah.
You're gonna be tough the rest of your life.
Yeah. We jumped over into this podcast right after doing the sled. Because we feel like what that does is produce so much blood flow and oxygen and so many hormones to kind of get us ready and get us amped up to do a podcast.
And make us talk a little slower.
Yeah. And as we catching our breath, but I just feel like doing that sled is a discipline, because you have to confront the sled. And the way we do it, you got to confront it.
Toughest exercise. Now everyone's going to say this is tougher, that's tougher. But we've trained a lot of athletes, pro athletes, and the majority say that the sled's the toughest workout they've ever done.
Yeah.
Remember what I said? It's the only workout I've ever gotten my parents to both love doing. That's why my online program now, it's sled and 2 exercises. That's it.
Yeah. Everything is downhill after the sled. That's why Ben starts with the sled.
Easier after that.
That's why Ben starts with the sled, because then everybody's like, man.
No 20-minute foam rolling before the session. You see how flexible we get because we mobilize everything from the ground up. It starts with your big toe. We all have flexible big toes because of the sled. We all get blood flow from the ground up because of the sled. Then you go right into your flexibility work.
Yeah.
Monday, Thursday, we're doing legs. Tuesday, Friday, we're doing upper. Wednesday, Saturday, we're doing flexibility. Everything's easier after the sled. And you get tough as heck.
Yeah.
The people who work for me who do the sled, tough as heck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can remember how tough we got kids from doing the sled, how soft they would start before?
And you could just tell. I mean, you honestly could just look at somebody. Me and Ben could sit back and tell who was mentally tough and who wasn't
You can tell by the sled.
Tell by the sled.
You can tell that guy's going to come through for you in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
I used to tell the football coach, all right, you're not going to want to give this guy the ball in the 4th quarter. He's going to let your team down. And it would be right every time. Here's the guy you can trust in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
You can trust because of his ability to push his body, because anybody can move a sled. It's your weight against it.
Yeah.
So now your work ethic shows up on the sled.
Yeah. And the mentally weak people, and we're around them. We're still around them. The mentally people will literally quit in the middle of a sled session and say, I can't do anymore. But the mentally strong people, I don't care if they was moving the damn thing an inch, they're going to keep going, because it does exhaust you. It does wear you out, but you can tell that's what life is,
Can go.
And we're talking about.
We've never seen someone pass out on it.
No, never seen anybody die.
Quit.
Close, throw up,
We've actually never seen an injury.
Yeah.
And yet we've put people through sled thousands of times. It's the least injurious,
the
most bulletproofing, cardio, heart health, which we all need these days from sitting on the couch, whatever.
So true. It's the safest exercise you can do. And that's why we're trying to popularize the sleds like long term. Because like you said, it's a fun exercise. Anybody can do it. But let's talk about just like mentally tough. How does that make somebody mentally tough, Ben? And what is your 2-part component to build someone mentally tough from a kid to an adult? What is that?
Number 1 is the sled, because everyone can do it,
Yeah.
My mission over the next decade is that there's thousands of gyms like this around the world. Thousands of gyms like this, where half the gym is sled turf and half the gym is everything else. We need gyms like this around the world for our elderly, but even for our kids, that they can go in and they can start sledding. They don't have to load their spine. They get strong. They're going to prevent all the injuries I went through. Never would have happened with the sled. Yeah. So when you're pushing it though, it's hard, but it's healing for your body. It's good for your body. But the harder you push, the more you get out of it. If you stop, your muscles don't get as strong. Your tendons don't get as strong. You don't get as much blood flow. So you take a kid who doesn't want to push it, and you really just boil down to a definition of what is mental toughness. It's the ability to control your mind. You're the spirit. You're controlling your mind. You're not the mind. You're the spirit controlling the mind. So if you can't make your body push it, but you're physically capable of pushing it, your twin brother, can push it, but you can't. That's mental toughness. Now, even for the most mentally tough guy, we get in here and we get even mentally tougher. It's also a skill. Yeah. You go watch TV shows, you're working on the skill of not being as mentally tough, asking for life to be easier. You know what I mean? Laying back. That's you're building those habits. You know what I mean? So with the sled for us, that's why we talk about it. We do it 6 days a week. You probably do it 16 days a week. 16 days a week.
Yeah. I'm bargaining with
And
God.
the workout's so simple. We'll go, like I did my sled to start, did my workout, and then did a little more. Might do a little more after. So
Might cap it out.
It's a skill, right? And it would be very easy to just talk about things like that. In my case, I like to have things that I can prove to myself that I'm mentally tough. So we're, my phone's off November 15th, right? November 15th. And I haven't watched a TV show or a sports game or a movie. Zero entertainment this entire year. Not even one time have I watched one TV. Never have I said I'm going to shut my mind off and be entertained. Haven't gone to a movie, seen a movie, Netflix, whatever you want to call it, porn, video game, anything for entertainment. Zero all year. People think I had a really lucky year getting shouted out on Joe Rogan, this and that. Tell you what, I get lucky to the degree that I'm just mentally tough because I'm spending all my day asking the universe for what I want. The universe gives it back. So I love, the Seinfeld show, but haven't watched an episode of Seinfeld this year. You know what I mean? Because every second I'm spending, watching Seinfeld, I'm sure as hell not asking the universe to be a better trainer. Now I have a kid. So that's why I decided to go hard this year. Because you know how much time kids take. So now as a dad, now if you want to run a business, if you want to achieve your goals, I had to try to correct for the world the mistake of no knees over toes. I mean, the moment you push a sled forwards, the moment you pull it backwards correctly, your knees are over your toes. This is part of life. To the degree that you limit it, you wind up with all kinds of problems. Our elderly can't go down the stairs. We wind up with really weak joints. So now my new thing is popularizing the sled. I got to make a video every day about the sled. If you're on my YouTube channel, sorry to give you a spoiler there. No matter what else I put in that video, heart health, knee health, foot. Today I shot 3 foot pain solutions. One of those 3 is the sled. We're going to do 1,000 podcasts and there's no way we're not going to mention the sled. Yeah. The point is you want to get some major goals like that done and be a parent, more than double as hard. So maybe you can talk about that.
No, man, I love it, man. And I think what I was going to talk about too, man, Ben, just like, man, that's profound. The level of discipline. But I don't even think Ben calls it discipline. He just thinks he calls it a lifestyle. Like you go for what you want. Do you want to succeed or you don't? Like, you know what I'm saying? And that is pushing a sled. Do you want to push the motherfucking sled or do you not? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's will at the same time, and this lifestyle that we got placed in, these systems that surround us, cause us to be mush. They want us to be weak mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And
from
all
the food we're eating to watching TV shows late at night. Now we don't have enough sleep. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's a system. We're in a system, but that's why Ben is on a mission to change humanity. Like, it's not even like, it's not, and that's what drives him. It's not an ego, for ego aggrandizement. He really truly wants to impact humanity. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And I'm a realist. And this can be hard to popularize sleds. You know what I mean? I'm a realist. And I'm also a realist, like, let's change the world, whatever. That's going to be fucking hard to change the world. But you know what actually could change the world is sleds in gyms. Thousands, if there was thousands of gyms around the world with sleds, the world would get just a notch better, a notch more responsible, a notch happier. I see people walk in depressed and leave happy.
That's so true. We just had a crew. We're out there. Everybody, hey, you guys want to go?
You can't get these guys out of the gym.
Yeah. We got to push them out.
They're not depressed up. They are so fired up after the workout. Yeah,
Ben got everybody in the fucking Clearwater coming to my gym right now. I'm like, I'm like, who got a key no more? But I love it. But listen, I just to touch on what Ben said, man, can you believe? And I mean, water seeks its own level. And one of the reasons why me and Ben connect and continue to reconnect over and over throughout the years is because I'm the same way, man. Who the fuck got time to watch TV? If you going, like you said, either you can't chase 2 rabbits, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're going after your goals, you're going after somebody else's goals. It's like, which one you gonna pick? There's
too many people suffering out there.
Yeah.
For me not to be devoting my life to try to do something about it, And right now that means sleds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm also working on a fucking protein bar that has actual nutrition in it. And to the degree that people buy them, I can then, buy 6, I can give 1. Maybe I can increase that over time. Like, I'm literally trying to do stuff just to help make it a better place. But it has to be realistic. It's going to take me 7 months. I'm talking about, I have no protein bar yet. It takes 7 freaking months to get it made. And then I'm going to have to work my ass off to sell it just so I can then give bars to people who are hungry.
Yeah.
Put sleds where people are getting soft. I don't know, wherever it's like realistic to me. that I could make a difference.
Yeah. You're making a
That's
big
what I'm
difference,
gonna be
man.
doing.
Like being on Joe Rogan and being on these things, like, and people see you, they seeing your physical manifestations, man, but they not seeing what you do behind the scenes. Can you talk a little more about what your day-to-day lifestyle is right now, man? How are you continuing to win? How you continue to perform, wake up every day and be knees over toes guy?
I mean, I'm still living for the 12-year-old kid with knee pain who needs sleds and gyms because I worked my ass off. I would have had the most bulletproof knees. Like, I'm living proof now that based on my work ethic, I would have had the best knees, not the worst knees, but I had the worst knees because the methods did not heal and protect my knees. Now I just have the same work ethic at methods that heal and protect my knees. You know what I mean? So it's still the 12-year-old kid out there is still screwed because when the 12-year-old kid reaches out and I ask him, does your gym have sleds? They don't. You see what I mean? So 12-year-old kid is still screwed. Most of us can read pretty well. Kids these days can't read. They can't read because they're on TikTok. They don't know how to read anymore.
Wow.
If it doesn't spit out to them, you know what I mean? If they have to, when you read, you have to create the pictures yourself. When you're watching, you don't have to create the pictures. You see what I mean? So reading is actually a pretty cool thing you can do for mental toughness as well, because you're actually having to use your imagination. You're having to control your mind and use it. But kids these days can't read. So even though I have a pretty good bypass to a sled, it's not going to work for most 12-year-olds because they can't read. So I'm also working on how to help kids to read. I'm not even kidding.
Wow.
Like at 3 o'clock today, I have a call. I'm working with the guy who is the most success of anyone I know at helping kids read. So
I think I remember you telling me about that.
Kids need to be able to read
Yeah.
and gyms need to have sleds and kids need to have actual good nutrition.
Yeah.
Anyway, so those are the things I'm working on.
Let me ask you this, my last question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say my day-to-day is just working on these things, you know, and if I added any entertainment, how would I have time to do this? And how would I have the energy? You know what I mean? So I have to save my energy for all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I still spend all the other time is with my kid, you know, and then we'll talk about the manual labor thing as well.
Yeah. But I think this is something to be said, man. Ben, he says all this, but he loves this too at the same time. You know, I feel like Ben energy is always here because he loves helping. He loves getting here and training every day. Can't wait for that workout. He's the first one in the gym every day.
Can't wait. Yep. I was teaching my buddy who hasn't worked out in over a year. Oh man, I haven't worked out in over a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No. It's not what you think. Just come meet me. His whole way of thinking about exercise was different when he left because it was like, oh my, like every program I ever did, like this is so much simpler and better and gets my cardio and everything, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so, and from the very first push, I've got him in perfect form from 10 seconds in, you know, walking the gym, we're already, you know, life-changing session. So I met him before, but like, I couldn't wait to meet him and teach him how simple fitness is when you have a sled. And all we did after that was calf stretch. That was it. Yeah.
He left. He
one or two.
He was just
actually, we did a couple low cable pull-ins. Yeah. That was it. So we did sled, 3 sets, 30-second calf stretch, which normally do Wednesdays, but that's like just so easy to teach someone because I knew he'd be kind of effed up by doing the sled. Yeah. And then, but I started him like a lighter weight. So we went side by side. He went, it scales. Yeah. And Alyssa was right there with us with an even lighter weight. And then a couple sets of low cable pull-ins because we're all, weak below the belly button. But manual labor.
Yeah, let's talk about that, man. And before you, after that, I know we kind of going a little extended, but I want to ask you, because a lot of people come up in a different environment, because the environment is everything. And the one reason why I don't fuck with nobody but people that are about that life, man. I'd rather be myself, you know what I'm saying, than deal with somebody that's trying to pull me down or has negative energy. So your environment is everything, man. Like the people you hang around is key. And Ben always, he lifts his people around him up and he's really selective about his circle. You know what I'm saying? But just to piggy off that, man, how did you become so mentally tough? Like
the manual labor.
That's what I want to talk about. How did you become? And let's
have a son.
Yeah.
And he goes and works for my dad, Yeah. And he makes money, but it's like, he probably tells you it's hard work, right?
And it has changed him so much.
But he probably comes in and is like, damn, that was like hard, but he probably feels good about it, right?
Now it's just part of life now.
My dad created an environment, a modern environment with uncivilized level of work ethic. You know what I mean? So he managed to find physical labor things for me to do. whether it was mowing lawns or mulching or painting walls or pressure washing, or, you know what I mean? Planting trees, a lot of wall painting. You get mentally now back then I didn't even have any music with me or anything. So you're just painting walls, 8-10 hour day.
Yeah, right.
You get pretty mentally tough. You have to create
images in your mind.
Yeah,
to entertain yourself.
That's when I figured out my knees, is when I was painting walls every day. I had nothing to do all day but try to figure out knees. And then it became so clear. Oh shit, the one thing I've been told by every trainer I ever went to, don't let your knee over your toe. I'm terrible with my knee over my toe. And that's basketball. And I mean, it's just direct, everything changed from that point. It's been 10 years of everything just getting better after 10 years of everything getting worse. Because I understood, I could see truth. Like my bullshit detector is my best weapon. You know what I mean? I can tell if no one's pushing stuff on me that doesn't work. You know what I mean?
He does have a high bullshit detector.
Yeah, but I built that by society is so rigged to not let us, think for ourselves, right? Yeah. It tells us in school, we're told what to think. You know what I mean? I was told in school when I started doing exercise science, I was told big X over, the knees over toes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
it's still in the fucking books now.
Yeah. It's going to take crazy. It's going to take so long for the books to change. Yeah. And you don't make a lot of money for being healthy, but
so true.
Society's telling us how to think. And now modern lifestyle, where's the manual labor that even you and I probably grew up with a lot more responsibilities, because things are more automated and you know what I mean? It's a different lifestyle now. Yeah. Our kids, like even for me, I didn't play video games growing up. You know what I mean? Maybe they were just starting, like we had to go like do shit
outside, man, playing.
We had to have like part-time jobs in the summertime.
Yeah.
We had to
but during basketball season, I had 2 other jobs in high school.
Yeah.
2.
Yep. Even when I was in college, I was driving back on the weekend and working.
Yeah.
And it happened to be physical labor type jobs. So I guess let me put it this way.
Yeah,
when you're painting walls 8-10 hours, I can't wait to go to the gym and face my shitty knees. You know what I mean? But most people don't want to face their shitty knees. But if they spend all day painting a wall, they can't wait to go try to work on their shitty knees. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's because that mentally is so much tougher that other stuff seems easier. So when your son goes and does physical labor, that's tougher. It's all of a sudden you're releasing the weight. You know what I mean? It's resistance training for your mind. You know what I mean? Yeah. When every second you're playing video games, you're atrophying your mind. You know what I mean? Every second on video games, you're lifting the pink dumbbells. Then you get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to be lifting the pink dumbbells with your mind, or lifting the heavy ones and then release them. You know what I mean?
Games, scrolling on social media.
Yeah.
Watching TV, going to the movies.
Porn. Huge.
That's devastating for somebody.
I was addicted to porn briefly, then realized, and I just went cold turkey. I just stopped. Never went back again. And that was like 18. My knees were still ruining my life. I'm telling you, getting rid of porn probably had a lot to do with then completely figuring out my knees.
Wow.
I stopped doing the entertainment back then, and I started just doing manual labor during the day. And morning and night, I would go to the gym and experiment on my knees and try to figure it out. You know what I mean? But if I was doing the entertainment, there's no knees over toes guy. You know what I mean?
Wow. So listen to that, man. I know he said a lot, man. And a lot of that is practical things you can do. Stop the entertainment. Anybody, if you're 12 to 52 to 62.
Practice that as a skill, don't criticize yourself if you fail.
Yeah.
Think of it as a skill.
There's some work.
If you miss a free throw, you don't stop practicing your free. It's a percent, you work on it, you know what I mean? Until you can make it every time. So it's a skill to you control your mind. You know what I mean? The person says, man, I would imagine if there was a contract, a lot of people would sign that contract if they could just not be addicted to something. You know what I mean? But you're the one doing, you're unable to control your own mind. You don't want to be addicted to it. You don't want to scroll, but then you scroll. You see what I mean? You weren't able to control your mind. You see what I mean? And you didn't want to scroll. Your mind did. You know what I mean? It's easier. It's pink dumbbells, just scrolling.
What's that space though, man? What's that space? You didn't want to do it, but your mind did. And a lot of people are not going to understand that, because a lot of people feel like it's just me. It's just me. It's like they don't understand that separation point. And so how does somebody create that space to see me versus my mind?
Those moments when you did control yourself, you know what I mean? When you treated someone the way you wanted to, you know what I mean? When you held your ground, when you know what I mean? When you focused on something, those moments are the real you. You know what I mean? That's what I believe the real you is that, and then, all the shit that society pulls in on us.
What is that?
Makes us mentally weak,
But the real you versus what?
The mind, spiritual being, mind, two different things.
So the real you is the spiritual being.
Exactly.
The mind is the monkey brain that's just trying to fuck you over.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so.
But whether that's true or not, push the sled. You see what I mean?
But I like it.
That's an opinion.
People need.
It's a podcast. We can talk about our opinions. But I won't judge your opinion, but I will love to teach you how to use the sled.
Yeah, let's get back to the sled.
No, but that's my point is that
I love
the sled. I'm not going to change the world by saying my opinion on something. I'm going to change the world by putting in the work over time. We have over 500 ATG coaches around the world who are starting to make gyms. It's going to take years of precise organization and management to get gyms like this around the world. And then people will be able to go use the sled and they'll actually do it. I think it's an action, I think gaining that control of your mind, it starts with a decision, but then it's the action. So even if you are addicted to porn, every time you push that sled, you get a little mentally stronger to maybe not watch the porn. You see what I mean? You're working that skill. And that's kind of what I was saying, is that all the manual labor I did for my dad, all of a sudden made it easy to face my knees. You know what I mean? All the shit, I went through with my knees, boom. Now that transitions, now we're hitting like we were already hitting the sled every day 3 years ago when I did a no entertainment year. This is my second time doing a no entertainment year. You know what I mean?
I love it, man.
All the hours I spent pushing a sled and going backwards with the sled made me mentally tough enough to then just pick what I want. I haven't had a cheat meal this year either. And it doesn't mean I think there's something like wrong with having a cheat meal, but in a time when the immune system is so important, no one's going to convince me that a glazed donut, even if it might have something for whatever, and it won't make you fat. No, it's not about that. I want my immune system strong. I haven't been sick in years.
I've never seen Ben sick.
And now with COVID hit, I want my immune system strong. No one's going to convince me that a donut and ice cream is going to make my immune system stronger than blueberries. I'm not anti-carb. I'm pro blueberry. You know what I mean? Yeah. Our ancestors went their entire lives without having a glazed donut. You know what I mean? Yeah. You will be okay, but it's a mind thing. Is your mind strong enough? So November 15th, no entertainment of any kind, no cheat meals of any kind. You know what I mean? So that for me, that's my edge. That's my mental toughness. But the sled built that, and painting walls built the ability to then, go push a sled. Yeah.
And is it a lifestyle for you now, or is it?
Oh yeah, now it's a lifestyle. Yeah. Now I don't want to go back. Now I think about the donut, and there's not even an attraction anymore. Yeah. The donut was hot.
You love the results. You love the results more so than anything.
I didn't think I'd be able to break, watching a TV show or something. Now I can't imagine going back. It'd make me feel sick to my stomach. I'd feel like it's not even entertaining to me anymore.
Lift a pink dumbbell.
It's not entertaining enough. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like someone who works out doesn't want to go lift a pink dumbbell. It's not like, I don't even want to go to the gym to lift a pink dumbbell. Would you go to the gym to lift a pink dumbbell? Yeah. I wouldn't even, not even interested in it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's too easy. I'm not interested in it. The entertainment's too easy. You know what I mean? Yeah. The glazed donut's too easy. It's not even, I don't even want it anymore. So that's how I know too, that those things are like, there's something going on there that's interesting, because my perspective on it and the drive toward it has completely changed. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's not like I'm just like holding out. It's not like now I'm like, can't wait for that cheat meal. People are, oh, what are you going to eat January 1st? Fucking blueberries. You know what I mean? And steak and avocado.
Enjoy it. Man.
Yeah. I don't even want the garbage. Yeah. That's the pink dumbbell. Yeah. For my, you know what I mean? Like
you love yourself enough.
My body doesn't even want a donut more than it wants. You know what I mean? A piece of salmon. You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
I love it, man. I love it. We'll get you out of here, man. We didn't want to just go super, super long. We're going to continue to do these podcasts. Today we want to talk about what we're pushing, man. We're pushing mental toughness, pushing sleds. That's what ATG is all about, man. It's not about this ego, the biggest biceps, the biggest chest, the biggest legs, man. We want the strongest mind and the most fit, the healthiest body possible. You know what I'm saying? It takes 0.0001, waking up and getting a little bit better every day. And that's what Ben did from January 1st to November 15th. Zero entertainment, man. So can you imagine that 0.0001 compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, man? Look it up. So Ben has a new book out. It's called, I got it right here, Ben. It's called.
This is my new book.
Okay, see? He always showing love too, man. Hey, surround yourself with people, man. That
Derek believed in me more than I believed in me. Back, he was saying, "Man, you really got something here." Back before I was on social media, you know.
Yeah.
I remember making his social media account, but he was already Mr. Infinity before we made it the name. Seriously.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
But yeah, I mean, come on, read both books.
Yeah. So knees over toes guy, man. Listen, this philosophy, this training. At 43, man, I'm still able to dunk. I wake up out the bed. And
he hasn't aged. It's insane. He doesn't age.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Which we should actually say what's super important is even from a scientific perspective, when you load a body heavy versus a body that's not loaded, you would think that would be the longevity body, the one that's not loaded. No. If you don't load and stress your body, you age 10 years faster. You are biologically 10 years older. If you're not hitting the sled, you're biologically at least 10 years older than he is at 43. But if we do it from squats and things like that, we might, and it could work really well. We're not even against any kind of fitness. Squats, deadlifts, it doesn't go for it. This is just our thing because I don't feel comfortable teaching my parents that. But every week I'm making my parents biologically younger when they push that sled because the load is from the ground up, but you're still getting the load. You're still loading all these areas, but in a way that you minimize, the chances of getting hurt in the process. I put a 70 plus, he was over 70-year-old chiropractor through that on the weekend.
Yeah.
I take anyone and everyone who will listen about the sled. All my friends and family train him for free. Put him through the sled. Couldn't believe it because he hasn't been able to find a system of exercise that he likes. You know what I mean? And he's the one. And I love CrossFit. I love the community about it and stuff. But man, has that made him a lot of business. He's like, they are coming in with so many injuries. You know what I mean? But a CrossFit gym could put in the turf and the sleds and run an ATG class as well.
Easy.
You see, I mean, ATG is not conflicting. ATG, you can be CrossFit, supported by ATG. You know what I mean? You can have a garage ATG. You could just be a trainer and use ATG. You might have to get like a tank sled or something. Since if your gym won't put in turf, you know what I mean? It's going to be a team effort.
Yeah.
No matter how powerful one person is, you really can't go far by yourself. I firmly believe that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're good at building the community. Ben is built. Over how many coaches do you have right now?
Yeah, we have over 500 coaches.
Yeah,
being certified in
all over
ATG.
the world.
Yeah,
and so what's your goal with that? We can shut it down.
My goal is that future 12-year-old me can look up in his town and find a freaking gym with sleds where he's not going to be pushed through pain, but where he's also not going to be told, "Oh, your knee hurts? Okay, we're not going to do that." No, it's everything scales. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have gone through, and I was doing really well in my life when I was doing all the manual labor and stuff. And I only got addicted on porn after I had my knee surgeries and stuff, because now I couldn't work. See, and I couldn't do the manual labor. It's not natural.
Free time.
It's not natural for a teenager not to be able to do manual labor, right? That's not unnatural. You should be doing manual labors. You're capable. The body, it's like they say, when can a baby start having some foods? I mean, does it have teeth? They're there for a reason. When the body is capable, probably around 12 years old, you should be the one mowing your lawn. You should be washing all the cars for your parents. You know what I mean? You're capable. When you're capable of working, you should be working. So all of a sudden now I'm not allowed to work. You know what I mean? I couldn't. I was on a walker for months, and it's some gnarly shit, So that really messed me up. And I had great finances because I was always working. So I always had money in the bank for myself until $10,000 out of pocket for my parents. Totally fucked me up. You know what I mean?
Like they gave you 10,000?
I couldn't pay for the surgery myself.
Yeah.
We didn't have the coverage for it.
Right.
10,000 out of pocket. And now I think those numbers are even worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that messed me up, not being able to work, and now not having my exchange in with the world, totally messed me up. So, we hit the sleds before and after. So I don't even remember how we got onto this topic.
Yeah. Honestly, this is good information, man. I think it's just coming out because it's so necessary and it's so needed. I think it's so not talked about. It's not discussed that the idle time is the devil's workshop. So you should be working. You should be disciplined. You shouldn't let the entertainment of the life suck you down. But
it's our job to get sleds around the world.
Yeah,
that's going to be the hard part for you right now. But as a team effort, we can make that happen.
Yeah. And so, man, look up ATG, ATGonlinecoaching.com, man. Then it's still pushing these Need Zero. You can get it. You have this new program out. What's it called?
Yeah. I mean, if you have nothing, you can start rebuilding from the ground up. If you have a sled, then you can do ATG Essentials. That's what we're doing here in the gym every day. I'm opening ATG in LA in January.
I'm excited about that one.
NBA guys, if you're listening, get to come sled with me, rebuild from the ground up. ATG fam, coaches, whatever. But that's what I'm doing in the gym. You know what I mean? But it's good to have alternatives. You know what I mean? I've lived this for months myself. You know, I went out of the gym to really live this. And it's given people thousands of success stories. But it's know these tools. So you could be on vacation with a cousin and you could start helping them. You know what I mean? But we got to change gyms, And then Derek, so we have the online or the book. Derek has his first book out. Yeah. We are co-writing ATG for Life as we speak. It'll be out really soon, like in a couple of weeks. And that's where we go deeper into teaching how to use a sled and stuff like that. And that's just going to be like a twice a week to like just really be able to gently ease in. That's what I've been working my dad on twice a week. The people who hate working out the most, anyone can get in, but there's so much to learn in that book that even online members are loving reading the books because it adds to the knowledge behind it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then Derek makes products. Slampboard is the first personal product to get. First thing you should do is look for a gym with sleds. But then you could even get your own slampboard. His is portable. You can put it in your backpack. You see what I mean? Yeah. So if you find a gym with sleds, then you get a slampboard. We all have tight calves from shoes with that big heel. Now, boom, you got your slampboard. Now you can correct the tight calves. You can flip it around to be able to get deeper into your legs. You know what I mean? To fix all the weak links in our legs. So,
Yeah. So much good stuff, man. We'll do these, man, as much as Ben. I can grab Ben and drag him over
at least once a week.
Once a week.
I'm going to get a podcast set up like this in LA. So even when I'm there, I'm going to drag him to LA with me.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. We're excited, man. We're going to keep going.
It's going to be a lot of sleds before they're around the world. We got a lot of sleds ahead of us.
Day one, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We love you, man. Mentally tough, man. Baby steps, man. Don't try to build Rome overnight, man. 0.0001. Just get a little bit better.
One step on the sled at a time.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Don't criticize yourself. You're building it one step at a time.
Yeah. We signing off, man. ATG for life. Much love.
ATG FL, ATG Florida, ATG for life.
LA, all that, man.
It works.
Ay.